if you're there. And I'm sure that you've given Rachel control already to the sharing. So welcome back, everybody, again to the Climate Marketing Workshop. And this week, we're going to have Rachel Celanese join us. She bridges design and climate action using her background in entertainment marketing and the power of media to shift mindsets and culture. Her work leading Climate Designers LA connects creatives through community-driven initiatives at the intersection of art, ecology, and creativity. I met Rachel and Margaret at the Climate Designers meetup at the Brand Library in Glendale and just hung out with some cool designers and looked at art and talked about climate issues. And it was one of the best things I've done over a weekend this year. Very cool group. And we're excited to have its leader of the LA chapter here with us. And I'll just pass it over to you, Rachel. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you. And to be clear, Margaret and I are co-leaders, so.
I knew that. I didn't mean to
just
discredit you, Margaret.
Taking notes. I wanted the AIs to know that. Let me share my screen. Okay. All right. Can you see my screen? Thumbs up. Okay. Thank you for joining today for the West LA College Climate Marketing Workshop. Today, we're going to explore why skills like emotional intelligence, active listening, communication, and critical thinking are your real superpowers, not just for better leadership, but for developing your own unique design style too. As everybody's still coming in, I wanted to just have like a quick little exercise. So if you want to pop in the chat your name, your location, your favorite takeaway from this class so far, and what you think your greatest skill or greatest strength is, I'm really curious to know where we're all coming from. All right, well, if nobody feels like sharing right now, we've got plenty of opportunities to later in the session.
I'm sharing and it's taking a second. So somebody else might be doing the same, having the same experience.
Okay. I mean, also if the chat is too slow, feel free to unmute and share vocally.
There we go.
Hey, thank you, P. Yes, climate marketing can change people's mind and hearts and make them come on board. Oh, I love that. Thank you. Ooh, bilingual communicator. Awesome. Learning from people on the front lines of this field and aesthetic literacy. Very cool. Yeah, thank you for sharing. And Casey, thank you again for having me here. I know that you've had so many of my friends here over the last couple of weeks as guest speakers, and you've all been learning from so many talented creative folks and learning tools like Canva, Illustrator, Photoshop, all the hard skills in our field. And those are amazing. But today I want to talk about the often underappreciated foundation that makes those hard skills even more powerful. So in a world increasingly focused on tangible solutions and quantifiable metrics, we often overlook the seemingly less concrete, less profoundly powerful skills that truly drive impact. We're so much more than our job descriptions and labels, right? So today we're going to dive into some fun online quizzes to really get to know our strengths, understand why investing in ourselves is so crucial, and tap into some authentic self-awareness. Today, I want to challenge a label we see all too often, soft skills, and explore why it's time for a rebrand so they get the respect they deserve. So think about the term itself, soft skills. It's almost like they're optional, like secondary to the hard technical skills, but that's not really the case. Let's get rid of that like good, bad, weak, strong, left, right, binary way of thinking. So hard skills I have over here is also called technical skills, professional skills, and those are all like the quantifiable abilities that are tied to specific tools, tasks, or careers. And you can learn them by taking a course and earning a degree or through some on-the-job training. And then we have the soft skills. So those are also known as our essential or transferable or durable skills. Those are the interpersonal, emotional intelligence, and behavior traits that shape how we connect with others and actually get things done. So there are also more transferable skills, which is why there's a shift in calling them core skills. There's like a lot of articles about it, like why we really need to be putting them on a pedestal and giving them the credit that they deserve. So first, I guess I should talk about my own journey and how I've gone. I've grown both sets of skills and why they matter. Oops. So I've been working for almost 2 decades in entertainment marketing. I know Casey also has a background in entertainment. I've worked everywhere from large studios to boutique agencies, leading campaigns for film, TV, streaming, music, fashion, brand identity, and immersive experiences. This work often demands a high level of technical proficiency. I had to learn a range of hard skills like creative direction, brand strategy, and mastering Photoshop in order to manipulate images and create glimpses of worlds that don't exist. Visual communication is the ability to effectively communicate the tone, genre, emotion, and story through one single image, and it's key to successful key art poster design. And that takes a lot of emotional intelligence to understand the feelings and perspectives of others, including the filmmakers, the clients, and the audiences, to create all these different campaigns that resonate. There's also a lot of creativity, problem solving, and innovation needed to generate original and engaging ideas, experiment with different styles, and think outside of the box to really stand out. Then there's the tight deadlines, working on multiple projects simultaneously, and the ability to adapt to different briefs, project timelines, and creative directions is essential in the world of film marketing. When I started working on more and more climate projects, I recognized that the subject changed, but the skills didn't need to. So those same hard skills were still incredibly relevant. It was almost like switching genres in filmmaking. The technical tools were the same, but the stories and goals were different. There weren't too many new skills I needed to learn. What I really started to appreciate were the core skills that were the foundation of everything that I did. Things like connecting people and ideas in meaningful ways and collaboration, because no big challenge is ever solved alone. So over the past few years, I've really grown my abilities for collaborative leadership, network weaving, and emotional intelligence. Let me share a little bit more about those skills. So network weaving and collaboration. The goal is to really make people feel seen, heard, and feel a sense of connection and belonging. Authenticity and caring about people really goes a long way. So what's network weaving? It's so different from networking. I like hated the idea of networking before. So it's so much more than just shaking hands at a conference. It's about shifting from those like, what can I get? How can you help me? Superficial interactions to authentic connections focused on how we can help each other with respect and reciprocity. It's about thinking about the bigger picture, focusing on collective impact instead of just your own wins, building lasting relationships and aiming for real change, not just a better job title. And collaboration, when we host our Climate Designers LA meetups, I emphasize how competing with each other is a thing of the past. The only way through this climate crisis is with collaboration, bringing people together, facilitating learning, supporting each other's projects, and building trust. It's also good to stop and ask, are we building community or are we building cliques? So for LA Climate Week last month, Margaret and I would never have been able to pull off all that we did without the power of community and collaboration. Being able to reach out to the networks that we've partnered with and the people that we already know, having established trust and support for this collective effort was invaluable. So during the pandemic, I really doubled down on investing in myself and my community. I took classes and joined cohorts. I knew I wanted to step up in my career, but not in the like professional boss bee corporate leader example that we see that feels so disconnected from being a caring human. So I looked around and found different cohorts that were meeting up. And the first one that I joined was called Design to Be training. And it was for designers to improve their emotional intelligence to become more effective leaders. And that's honestly where a lot of the quizzes that we're going to be doing later today came from. It really was a chance to like look inward and learn from like these other great leaders in design and advertising about how they use all these mindfulness techniques and ways of getting to know themselves better to be better leaders in design. So then later I joined the Climate Wisdom Fellowship, which was empowering climate leaders to navigate uncertainty and interpersonal transformation. And most recently, I just finished the cohort for Regen Intel, which is a global collective aiming to accelerate humanity's transition to a planet positive species. And that was cool because it was not just designers, but people from all different industries coming together. Connecting with people who are on the same page about creating a better future is super inspiring, and it opens up so many possibilities. So it was like a real deep dive into those like inner skills. And so then at the last agency that I was working, I spearheaded a professional development program. I was eager to continue investing in myself and help my coworkers grow. I curated monthly resource guides, held theme meetups to get to know each other better, created this knowledge hub that we all contributed to, and even got our boss to create a reimbursement program for any courses that we took. But one thing became clear: I could teach someone Photoshop shortcuts, but I couldn't teach people how to genuinely care about other people. And that hit me really hard. Like none of my technical skills would matter without the ability to connect with people, build trust, work in teams, and lead with empathy. Those core human skills were often the missing piece. So people will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So like, while those hard skills, your technical abilities are absolutely essential for bringing your creative visions to life, it's these core skills, the ability to connect with people, understand their emotions, communicate clearly, and think critically to solve problems together that will really amplify our impact. So it's not just about choosing one or over the other, it's about finding the balance between your technical know-how and your human-centered strengths. And then that makes me think about like the idea of balance and the sustainable development goals and the inner development goals. Here, I can pop the links to those in the chat if you want to go deeper, learn more. But yeah, so back like a decade ago, the UN laid out a plan for sustainable world development by 2030 with these SDGs. And the goals cover everything from ending poverty to tackling climate change. The idea is that we really need to achieve a sustainable future. So we need to balance economic growth, social inclusion, and environmental protection. But the thing is that progress has not been as fast as it needs to be. And that's where the inner development goals or IDGs come in to like try to fill that gap. So they recognize that to actually achieve the SDGs, we need to cultivate certain inner capacities within ourselves, things like collaboration and critical thinking, a sense of purpose, emotional intelligence. It's about developing those inner strengths that allow us to face complex challenges effectively. So think of the SDGs kind of like the hard skills, the vision for a sustainable world and how to get there. And then the IDGs are the core skills, like the inner growth that we need to do collectively that will help us reach that goal. So they're interconnected and dependent upon each other. So you can't really have one without the other, just like these skills. The next idea that I want to share is the climate emotions wheel from the Climate Mental Health Network. Has anybody seen this wheel before. I actually keep one on my desk. Oh, yay, I'm glad I'm introducing something new. Like, I should have put the QR code, or I don't have the link right here, but if you want to do the QR code, or you can probably just go to climateemotionswheel.com or something. So just like how some approaches to the SDGs focus solely on external factors, and so many of our climate solutions emphasize products and technology, which often overlook the emotional landscapes that we're all navigating, like we need to do this inner work just as much. So why is naming your climate emotions important? It turns out that understanding and acknowledging our feelings about climate change, whether it's anxiety, hope, frustration, anger, something else, is really important for taking meaningful action. So naming what we feel can be the first step in navigating those emotions and using them constructively. Oh, thank you, Margaret, for adding it, the link. So yeah, so let's take a look at the wheel. And where do you think you land on it? Like, what word is resonating with you? No pressure if you don't want to share, but
I'm sorry, what the question I was typing when you asked it, where do we land on here?
yeah, like what emotion is really coming up for you when you think about climate change? I think for me, it's overwhelm. Oh, Anna says worry. Yeah, yeah, it's this idea because it's, climate change is a polycrisis, right? So it's like so much frustration. Yeah. It's like there's so many different moving pieces and so much that we want to do. Anyone else?
Trying to find how I feel on here.
Oh, outrage.
And yeah, I agree with Pete, because it's just like any of those other feelings make me feel sad, and I can't stand feeling sad. So hope and gratitude and like inspiration, even if we lose and the planet dies, we will have been better for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think lately I've been telling people that I'm like an optimistic nihilist. So that kind of fits in with what you're saying, Casey. Like I'm really optimistic. There's a lot of people out there that are working on these solutions. There's a lot of solutions that are already out there. But everybody dies at some point, so we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy for me to think about that. Like people who are have actual power in the world, and then people like us who actually care about the world. You
Yeah,
know, actually care about the world enough for it to be good after you die.
yeah, yeah, that's 7 generations thinking that Indigenous people had as their core belief. Um, all right, well, yeah, Native wisdom, Indigenous wisdom, yeah. Um, all right, not to skip gears, but the next slide talks about how we begin to put these ideas into practice and strengthen all the core skills, strengthen our care, and kind of like how when you guys did the climate action Venn diagram to find what your strengths were in the climate space, this is about really getting to know yourself better. The more you understand yourself, your values, your passions, your strengths, even your weaknesses, the more effective you can be. So simple practices like meditating, journaling, taking a few minutes each day to check in with yourself, trying to see things from different perspectives, and even asking for feedback from people that you trust can be really helpful on this journey of self-discovery and reflection on our core skills. And if you want more resources, like I know at the bottom it says Wheel of Life, like there's so much out there. So if you want any more resources than what I'm about to give you, feel free to reach out. But so the next slide is these really cool online tools and quizzes that can help you dig a little deeper into who you are and how you show up in the world. So let me paste into the chat links for all these and a couple of bonus ones that aren't on the page. Margaret just shared with me, like, what vegetable are you? And I thought it was very cute, so I kept it in this little link. But yeah, let's explore some of these a little bit more. And then we can take the quizzes and share some of the answers. So the first one I want to talk about, because it's good, but it kind of takes a long time. So I don't think we should do it today, because you also have to like give them your email and register. So this one is a little classic, a little corporate, but a lot of insight to dive into before you hit a paywall. It helps you identify your core character strengths like kindness, creativity, leadership, appreciation of beauty. And so it's a free online scientific assessment of all your different character strengths and skills. It takes like 10 to 15 minutes to complete, and then it gives you like some free survey results at the end. Oops, I should have deleted the thing that says artist and caregiver. That's a spoiler for the future. This doesn't tell you that. It tells you your skills. And then I'm going to post in the chat. They also send a fun monthly calendar every month once you do take the quiz. And it's like all these different prompts focused on improving a particular strength. So here's the link to May, and that one has ways of strengthening perspective, humility, and self-regulation. So it has like all kinds of prompts like journal, prep your space Sunday for a better Monday morning, happy Mother's Day, recognize all who lead with heart and humility, pick a mini habit for the week, like 5-minute sketches, tiny wins count. So I download that every month and think it's kind of fun and helpful. So explore it on your own when you have the time. And then another one, this is from Adobe. It's their creative quiz. It's quick and you don't have to register or anything. So let's take it together. I can put it in the chat. And there's only a couple of questions. So while you guys do that, I'll read like the information from their website. So rooted in science of personality, the test assesses your basic psychological orientation, your natural way of thinking, problem solving, and collaborating to reveal where your creative strengths lie and how they might serve as a force for progress and innovation. Answer the 15 questions, contemplate your type, and gain insight into your creative orientation and what you bring to the collective. In a time of accelerating change, we are challenged to reimagine what it means to be human and to fully unlock our creative potential to dream and build the world of tomorrow. These 8 types are an invitation to reflect on the power of human creativity and to celebrate the many ways we can express ourselves for the betterment of all of us. By connecting with your own unique way of driving change, you'll be empowered to step up as a creator of our shared future. This is awesome because I think I did this. It was like one of the exercises that I tried to get all of my old coworkers to do together. And they've changed like the names of the types. And they, of course, updated all the little like illustrations of all of them. But it also is really talking about, it's not like explicitly talking about climate, but it's talking about a better future, which, you know, for a company that's replacing most of our jobs with AI, I think that's pretty cool. Has anyone finished the quiz yet? And is ready to share? I can
I'm
share.
like halfway through it.
Oh, okay. I'll give you more time. Should I be quiet? Is it distracting when I'm talking?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I think sometimes it takes a second to jump into interacting. So I like to give people a couple extra seconds on that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the new personalities that they created was the regenerator and the gardener too. I don't know if that was the old. I was looking for like photos of them too, and I actually saw the old personality creative types from before. So maybe they just changed it recently.
I never know how to answer head versus heart questions. It always trips me up.
Right? Because it's both. Like that's what this whole session is
Yeah.
talking. Like,
The oneness of heart and mind.
wait, is that an answer?
No,
Oh,
but it is the answer.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, Anna. Like, I like it better when it's like kind of like a sliding scale. And even then, sometimes I'm like, well, it's halfway between a yes and, or like a, what is it? Like agree or strongly agree. Like, I need even more answers in between those. Yay, Lily's done. Lily is an alchemist. Ooh, let me go read. The alchemist, transformation starts within. The alchemist seeks to understand the inner workings of all things, first and foremost themselves. How appropriate. Your life is an endless quest for meaning and a journey of self-exploration. Through your own inner excursions, you navigate and map the full range of the human experience, driven by your fascination with life's mysteries. Ooh, Desiree is also an alchemist. How cool. Ooh, Margaret was the gardener and now she's the guide. Yeah, I think when I took it last time, I was a luminary, but I didn't take it today because I have to focus. The guide is interesting. Is it okay for me to move to the next, or does everybody need?
Almost done. I just took the
Oh,
last
okay.
question.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm a luminary also.
Yay! Man, we have a lot in common, I think.
That luminary character is really sick too.
Yeah, it's this one that looks like it's a whole bunch of those little orange earplugs for a face.
Uh-huh. It's awesome.
Well, I was going to say it's interesting that Margaret got the guide because that leads into the next quiz, which we can decide if we want to do or not. There's this next one and one more. So we can take a vote and see which one sounds more fun. So during my Regen Intel program, I met Dr. Renee Lertzman and learned about her project Inside Out. Let me add the link in the chat for that quiz, just in case you do want to do that one now. So Project Inside Out's mission is to enable leaders, organizations. Ooh, Anna's a luminary too. Yay. Enable leaders, organizations, and advocates to become effective guides for positive planetary transformation through the power of psychology and social science to create new mindsets. So we could do this one, but I think the last one might be even more fun. I don't know. I mean, do we have time to do both?
I don't know the length of your lecture, but we're really good on time.
Oh,
Super
okay.
good on time. Yeah.
Okay. All right, well then we might as well do this one.
I see. Yeah, let's do it. This is
Yeah.
cool.
So this one is, what kind of change maker are you? I'm gonna do it this time too.
Is this the one from Project Inside Out?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I think you have to click one more thing and then you get to the quiz, the what kind of change maker are you quiz.
I can't find the.
Oh, Margaret added the quiz.
Oh,
Thank you, Margaret.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this one's more like multiple choice. So that, but it's still hard. Like choose up to 5, choose up to 3, and you're like, ugh. No. Did anyone get theirs yet? This one's kind of interesting. Oh, Casey's posting. Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. Well, it makes sense that you have a lot of educator because you are an educator. I only had one pink one and 4 yellow ones also.
is it good to have like a lot of all the colors?
I think the point is to be a guide to people so that people are more engaged. So I think you want to be more guide. Because I think that the point was that like if you're, telling people what's right and wrong all the time, then it can kind of, you know, get them to be disinterested. I mean, that's kind of climate, oops, I guess I can't paste it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, a lot of ours look similar.
Yeah, I think people said right and wrong that it's just broken. Like
Yeah. Well, but that's also something that we talk about in like the climate space a lot is like if you're just telling people, don't do that, don't do that, that's wrong, you're not going to motivate them to change. Like,
yeah.
you know, like don't, whatever, all the don'ts in the climate. Um, but yeah, so I think that their point is that being a guide allows you to like show people like here's some solutions, here's what you can do, instead of just you're doing everything wrong,
Yeah.
or like being too positive, right? Like, oh yeah, everything's great, just keep recycling, we'll be fine, you know.
I
um
think I think people are what I notice like kids who grew up during the pandemic and stuff, they uh like are resistant to any sort of persuasion that's embedded in communication, and they're savvy from a very early age, and it's a very unique problem for the marketing industry,
yeah, yeah,
you know.
see through see through the lies and the BS.
You have to, as a like a if you want to survive, you have to know how to do that.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's like why like being authentic in everything that you're communicating is so important. It's like people can sniff out when you're, you know, superficial, inauthentic, and straight up lying. So, okay. So are we ready to move to the last quiz? Uh, this one is actually by a creative agency called mymediacreative.org. I'd never heard of them, but apparently they do advertising, branding, and design for social change and climate action. And they created the Climate Warriors quiz. There you go. So this quiz helps you identify your unique climate archetype. Are you the artist, the caregiver, the storyteller, the organizer? It really highlights that there's a role for everyone in climate action. So kind of like the climate action Venn diagram, but it's a quiz. It's not you doing the work yourself. So it says a lot of us don't know how to fight climate change. We know what we want to do, but the how keeps eluding us. 74% of young people don't know how they can contribute to climate action. But after a couple of years of being in this movement, we've learned something. Everybody's strengths, perspectives, and experiences are valuable, no vital, in the fight to make our planet habitable and just. So this one's cool, and it's got like some great photos of all kinds of different actual people living today that are climate leaders. So let's take a couple minutes to do that. Oh, this one's a lot longer. I didn't realize.
Questions they're more thought provoking though.
Yeah, I copied a couple down that maybe we could like discuss after because I thought they were fun. Yeah, if there's any of the questions that stand out for you that you'd like to talk about, like copy them, hold on to them, and we can talk about it after this. Hmm. Interesting. Did anybody get to the end yet? I think I got the same answer that I got last time. I got the storyteller.
I got the artist.
Oh, nice. Ooh, organizer, Anna. I wish it said who all the people were, because I can't tell like in the little image that comes up when you finish.
Oh, mine is Ai Weiwei, Bob Marley, and Frida Kahlo.
Oh, cool.
And there's some Banksy art in there,
Mhm.
but he's not he's a mystery.
Okay, so I had to look this up because mine has a lady, but it has the book that she wrote, A Raisin in the Sun, and that was Lorraine Hansberry. So, okay, it's not a common name. Now I don't feel so bad. Some of the questions had me conflicted. Yeah. Were there any questions that stood out?
Trying to find out where I put the one that I was thinking about. My Finder policy is not helping me here.
I just copied or pasted mine into the chat so that I wouldn't lose them. But I didn't share them to the chat yet. All right. Was there anything surprising for anyone? I guess we can go, yeah, like the next section is just like, let's all talk about it. So discussion time. So now that we've had a chance to explore some of these tools, who the man in the glasses is. I thought it was Miyazaki, but I don't think he looks like that. And then it had a like National Geographic next to him. So maybe he's like a famous National Geographic photographer.
You weren't able to place him?
Mm-mm. Let's see if I have. Oops. Oh, Margaret also got the artist.
Our job is to make the revolution irresistible.
Yeah, I think I was assuming I would also get the artist, so I think I was surprised to get the storyteller. But I think that's also something, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of the climate conversation is about how storytelling is so important. You know, we need to take all of these scientific facts and observations and weave it into a story that'll make people care about what's happening. And
Yeah.
then the artist, it's also was it Buckminster Fuller that you have to, the job of the artist is to create an alternative that's so desirable that the old ways become obsolete.
Yeah. I like it. Something really satisfying about this process of getting your own personalized result.
Yeah.
Humanizing.
Yeah, I mean, if some of the chats or some of the links that I shared earlier in the chat, there was like a whole bunch of online quizzes you can do. Like I think some of the first ones that I took were the Myers-Briggs test, which I think has now been like debunked by science or whatever, but it was always fun. Like it, because I think I thought of it as, you know, it's a way of getting to know yourself based on the answers that you have at this moment, and maybe going back and taking the quizzes again will share some other insights. I think I found this at a time where a lot of my friends were really getting into astrology, and I was like, oh, but this is like actually based on like your own answers instead of just the alignment of planets, which is also important. But
Yeah. I did one of these recently also. It's called the Clifton Strengths. It I got a code for it, so I did it, but it costs, it's like $50, and it was similar to, I think, one of the first ones we did. It kind of like, but it gives you this really intense report about and I was like the ideator. There's another thing like I'm good at interconnectedness, ideation, and research.
oh, that's cool. Yeah, the VIA one gives you kind of similar things too, because it'll like plot out on graphs like, oh, you have a lot of skills in the humanity, like human emotion quadrant or something. So there's a lot that you can get before having to pay for it. But yeah, yours sounds cool. Is there a free version of it?
They probably have a free version to ensnare you and give you marketing. I don't know. I don't think so though. It's a lot of times like corporations will use that service like for like a team building, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, when I was at NBC, I took some classes like this too. I forgot to even include it in here, but that was like we learned about the DISC assessment, which was like they were 4 acronyms. So like D was for dominance, I was for uh, informational, I think. S was for, oh my God, I can't remember what the DISC assessment measured. I know the C was compliance and the S was stability. I forget what the I was. Oh, I think that was like an inspiration or something one. But I just it stands out because I remember there was one guy that was in the class that was like, I'm a high C, I'm high compliance. And I think he was like a security guard or something. But he would like say it like every time he spoke up in the class. But but yeah, a lot more of those kind of like corporate tests are in the Truity link that I shared. Um, they have the Myers-Briggs and DISC and some other ones that I've never heard of. So maybe the one that you were sharing is in there too. But here's some of the questions that were from the Climate Warrior one that I thought were kind of fun. And I wanted to bring some of them up. So I think the first one I thought about because it just seems like it really relates to what we're talking about today. The climate crisis is more of a people problem than a technological one. Where did everybody kind of fill that out?
I think I put it somewhere in the middle because I felt like I don't like it when the blame gets put on me. Like I'm doing my best out here, you know?
I read it as like it's like in general, humans have to like shift their mindset, you know, away from capitalist models of unending growth in the name of progress in order to stop using up so much of our natural resources. Yay, Anna.
Yeah,
And
I agree. It is about changing people's minds because they're the ones controlling the technology, and that comes down to communication. That comes
yeah,
down to connecting with people through the heart and not lecturing them.
yeah. And I mean, that's like also something, right? Like there was somebody recently that was saying like, we've got all the climate innovation. We don't actually need any like new technology. What we need is like the mindset and behavioral shift to use the solutions that already exist. So
Yeah.
when cooking, you treat recipes as more inspiration than instructions. That one also hit me hard because I feel like I'll just be like, oh, here's a recipe, or like not even the recipe. I'll be like, here's a picture of some food. Great. And then just like go experiment. I just thought that was like a funny question. But did anybody else
Yeah,
have a moment like that?
Hey, I also thought that question was hilarious. Um, but mostly because I realized when I really like love a dish, I will actually find a recipe, find multiple recipes from different sites, read the differences and like decide which one's better and follow it to the T. Like it's kind of annoying, I know, for other people. Especially like my partner, she's more like free flowy, like she doesn't measure anything. But when there's a dish I really love, I wanna like make it myself and see if I can make it be as good as I had it somewhere else, like either like a family member or at a restaurant. But if it's like something that I've never had before that I don't even know how it tastes, I don't care.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of instruction follower too. It just so that I know what's going on, and then I start doing weird things.
Yeah. I feel like I'm the opposite. Um, like there's so many things that I'm like, oh, this is like I'll make dinner for my friends or whatever. I'll be like, oh, this is delicious. And I'm like, I'll never be able to make it again, because it was like, okay, like I'm, you know, mixing this up, and what do I have in the fridge? Oh, here's like a little bit of leftover like pickle juice or like whatever is in the fridge, and you just like add like random little spices and don't measure anything. Um, so yeah, I'm like, enjoy it because I can never recreate it.
Yeah, the blogs always disappear.
I do like how like on Instagram and TikTok they have people like, yeah, doing like the little video of making their recipes. But then I'm just like, I just watch it and still just make it up. I don't even click into the comments to see the actual recipe.
I was gonna add, just to add on this too. I think for me, I remember when I would be so baffled just watching my mom cook, and I think she was just like notorious for like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I was like, oh, I hate that, because then how am I supposed to know how much to put? So I think I really need those rigid boundaries, and I was just thinking about just kind of like communications work, and I think that's kind of how I didn't understand it, and I kind of how I approached it. But I think once you start going into like from beginner to intermediate mode, I think it's kind of like a nice time to start really getting creative and trying something new and seeing what works. So yeah, I think it's a process. Although I hate that process where you just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have these ideas, but I don't know how to implement them. So that I feel like that's just an awkward phase.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely like how I felt out like first starting out as a designer. Like you have these ideas in your head of what you want to create, and then it's tough because you're like, oh, I don't have the skills and the know-how yet to like really get it to where I imagine it could be. Um, but yeah, but I think that's also like one of the best ways to learn. Like also some of my first jobs, like the way that I first made it out to LA, I applied for an internship to be a web designer, and you know, had taken some classes in school, but definitely wouldn't have called myself a web designer, but I just really wanted to like get out to California. And so I just kind of threw myself into the deep end and figured it out on the job. And that was a long time ago, before there was like YouTube explanations telling you how to like do everything that you ever have a question about. So yeah, I think that's like a great way to grow, is just like getting in over your head and having to figure things out as they come up.
I absolutely agree with that technique. There's things that you can't learn hypothetically about being a designer. You have to like figure out how you do it. And the only way you do that is by doing it.
Yeah. I mean, that is absolutely something that came up in so many of my jobs too. Like, because you would get, you know, working in entertainment, it's like you have so much work and it's so fast paced that you would get somebody else's file that they already started to work on. And you're like, oh my God, like, how did they do this? This is so completely different than how I would do it. And sometimes it would be cool and you'd pick up tricks, and other times you would have to explain to people, like, please do not flatten your layers. But but yeah.
Yeah. I had a friend who did he did the artwork for the Cypress Hill record. This is in the 90s, and they were all in the room with him, and he would do work and then in front of them while they were directing, and then he would flatten it. And at a certain point, they're like, you know, I want you to change this thing right here, but can you not flatten it first?
Oh my gosh.
I told him, like, what's that guy's name? The MC told him that. It's cool.
Yeah, I remember my first entertainment job out here. I didn't know how to mask in Photoshop yet. And so I was like just erasing around things in the image and like learned very quickly how to mask. And then using a Wacom tablet. So I love my Wacom tablet, but you know, coming from school, I had only used a mouse and my laptop, and my boss gave me like, he's like, okay, we need to get you on a Wacom. We're switching you out, and your first project is you have to illustrate this whole thing and like do all this like painting and coloring in for this movie poster. So I was like, just, yeah, had to learn really fast.
Do you have like hand skill, like drawing and that kind of?
Yeah, I've been drawing ever since I was a little kid. Like how I got into design was kind of crazy because I was always in art, and like Photoshop was like what the weird kid in my art class would do to like put his face on like a sexy lady's body, like, weird stuff. So I was like, Photoshop's weird. And then when I went to college, I just was like an undecided major for a long time, until I took like an advertising class, and it was like, oh, graphic design. I can do art, but not be like a starving artist, like painter or something. That's what I'll do. Yeah. It would have been nice to have better career counseling at my school. Like, I think that definitely is much better now. I know WLAC has some good counselors and
Yeah.
um all right. So what other questions do I have? Oh yeah, I said the idea, this was the last question from the quiz that like stood out to me. The idea of forging your own path within the climate movement is attractive. How did everybody answer that?
Agree for me.
Yeah. What did you think about for that one?
I feel like I I'm thinking so many things, but I think as a kid, I thought you had to be like a scientist. I feel like that's kind of more like a sciencey role. And then once I got into high school, I was really interested in like arts, and I majored in visual arts for a year, and I was like, I want to go into film. And I was really interested in storytelling, and something just didn't feel right. I was just like, this doesn't really feel right. So I felt like it was kind of like one or the other for me, just kind of going into the environmental field versus like choosing something a little bit more creative. And I didn't even know what that would be because I don't know how to draw, I can't paint, etc. And at my college, it's kind of like what folks in the arts were doing. And filmmaking for me was kind of like not something I was extremely passionate about, but I think it would just have that storytelling component that I was really attracted to. So I feel like wasn't really until the pandemic when I started to see more online creators kind of sharing environmental knowledge and stories, hosting events, that I was like, oh, this is really cool. Just being inspired by like intersectional environmentalists, Brown Girl Green, well, Queer Brown Vegan. I think to me that was just kind of like, oh, this is so cool. Like they're young people of color, that are really just like creating change, and that really spoke to me. And so I feel like for me, that's kind of always been the case. Like, I don't really know what my next steps are. When people ask me, what do you want to do? I don't know. I just kind of, I'm trying to see where I can fit in and how I can also grow as well and wherever I can fit in. And so I feel like that really speaks to me there. I don't know what I'm going to be doing in the next 5 years, but I know that it'll be aligned with my values and what I'm interested in.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel exactly the same way. So going back to when I was in college and learned about graphic design, I ended up actually making my own interdisciplinary major because I felt like I couldn't fit within like one predetermined major. So I just kind of took all the things that I was interested in and got them together so that I could graduate. And even now, like, I think it's really important to just be open to whatever comes next. The one project that I've been on for a couple years is it's called Prospering Backyards, and it started out, I was doing a lot of their design and their social media marketing and newsletters and handouts and stuff. So the project is helping community scientists in East LA find alternative ways to remediate lead in their soil and their yards that was contaminated by Exide, which is like a big battery recycling plant. So yeah, so I started out doing design with them, but have learned so much. I mean, we partnered with Self-Help Graphics in Boyle Heights, and also the Natural History Museum, Gem and Mineral Lab. They were the scientists that were actually doing all the research testing. Oh yeah, and with LA Compost. Oh yay, the Soil and Soul Healing Toolkit. Nice. I designed that. um, and then yeah, and so then I had no idea that that would also lead me back into the art side. I like helped conceptualize and like fabricate like these massive soil sculptures and these huge like 5,000 piece mosaics that I made myself. And I was like, I would have never have said like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do some fine art this year that's gonna be part of the Getty PST art exhibit. So yeah, I think it's awesome to just keep just to stay open to all the possibilities that could come your way. So
Rachel, I have on my Instagram, I kind of got off social media at a certain point, and I have a Instagram account that I use because I need to, and I follow it's a lot of climate stuff, and I've been seeing this the Prospering Backyards. Wait, I have it open here. Oh yeah, like the food soil justice stuff that you did for the Climate Week.
oh yeah.
That design where it's like there's rounded corner containers and tightly tracked white type on like colorful.
Yeah.
I was um like I stopped and I looked at that. That's interesting design. I like that. And I wondered if you could just talk about some of your design choices in that campaign.
Yeah, here. Do you want me to share like I guess
That would be awesome.
and like am I just sharing this whole screen? Like, can you see that I just dragged a Finder folder over there? Okay. Um yeah, so I'm like, let me go to Climate Week LA. Here's all of our, or actually maybe I should just open the Canva, or is that too behind the scenes?
Which one?
Oops, here. Here, I'll just open the Canva since, let's see. Get out of here, thing. Nope. Too many tabs. All right, this one. Sorry, it's loading really slow.
This is awesome.
So yeah, here is the entire Canva. So me, Margaret, and Angel put together Climate Week. Here we are. Here's me, Margaret, and Angel. And so working in Canva is awesome because it allows you to like really collaborate with people. And so, and it also, it makes it, I don't know, for me, like there's something about it that makes it so much easier to create like social media graphics and just like copy and paste and duplicate and make sure that things are consistent in a way that even using like Illustrator artboards never felt as easy, I guess. But it's really like just having it be open source so that anybody can come in and like make a change, make a tweak. So yeah, the process, I think, let's see, I started here because this was the day that Margaret and I were putting together the first day, Climate Designers LA from Soil to Soul. We were doing this. And so I don't know, I just thought that I wanted to create like a consistent look for all the different days. I started here and really like this idea of kind of like watercolor paintings of foods. I'm not entirely sure why I made all the choices that I made, like the rounded corners and things like that. I think there was also maybe there was something that Seeds of Hope had done that, no, well, see, all these ones that have the little like X's through them are other directions that I was exploring. And then we agreed that we really liked the one with the little fruits. And so we created that for our day. And then created different colors and images for the other days. So Tuesday was all regenerative agriculture. So we had little mushrooms and ladybugs and, you know, other people were able to go in and add like the little worms and the gears and whatever they thought was relevant to their talk. And then, yeah, Wednesday was all about food rescue and recycling. So I made sure to have like a little grocery bag and
Is that a carousel right there? Like,
yeah, this would be a carousel. So we did carousels that were like all the different sessions, like rescued food cooking, harvesting change, upcycled food innovation, food disposal, and compost, and then the community compost club. So we would do a carousel that was all the different sessions. And then like, you know, for Margaret's, because she had all these great speakers on her panel, we also did a carousel of all the different speakers that kind of went more in depth into each of the sessions. And then we also created calendars that were in the same color palette as the others that, you know, showed each session, who's there, who's talking. Yeah, Margaret's panel actually had Isaias from Pro Brown Vegan that Anna had mentioned, because he's in her film, her documentary. And yeah, and just creating a consistent look and feel and color palette for each of them. And then when we did like this one and brought it all together, it was easy to kind of see which day was which based on the colors. And then I'm in the middle of putting together like our impact report. But so then the day of, we also took those graphics and applied them to like a 1080 by whatever aspect ratio that the monitors would be, so that we could have them like on the big screens behind all of the speakers. So we did that for each day. There's me, Margaret, and Angel. And then, yeah, this was part of our newsletter that we sent out afterwards. So we got to show like some highlights from all of the different talks and sessions. And so now I'm working on putting together like a booklet that'll have more in-depth things to share with each of the events that we did, and it's way too many pages, but but yeah, it's just to show like highlights and stuff.
And the three of you are collaborating on this. How do you how do the sort of responsibilities and tasks get divvied out, and are you like teaming up on certain things, or like how do you establish the look and agree on it and like work within it? Like if Margaret's doing something and she rounds the corners a certain way, do you like get that all on the same page or something?
Yeah, so I think generally I'll come up with like a couple of different options and then share it out with everybody else. And then once we agree on that, then oh, sorry, I just saw that Pia had to leave, and oh yeah, catch the last 30 minutes in the recording. Okay, sorry. Yeah, and so then, oh, sorry.
I'll say Rachel definitely led the creative direction in this whole series. Yeah. And we just kind of support it in if we need any sizing. Yeah. Or
Well, I mean, we definitely had like very different roles too, like, because it wasn't just creating all of the graphics, it was also like figuring out the schedule and who was gonna speak when, and reaching out to all of our different friends within our networks and our communities to find out, you know, oh, like at the last minute, actually, on Wednesday, we had a last minute addition, Hollywood Food Coalition, or no, sorry, we had Hollywood Food Coalition, but at the last minute, Food Forward was like, oh, we actually, you know, they were tabling, but they wanted to do a presentation to share everything that Food Forward does. So we had to like find space in the schedule and fit them in. And then I had to, you know, change the designs and update all of that. So we had a lot of Google Docs of all the information, you know, lots of technical things too, like big spreadsheets and and all that. And then, yeah, even like we did these fun little raffles each day so that people could meet all the different tabling partners that we had, and that would switch out. So it's like, oh, okay, these people are out, these people are in, like, so I think that was also really helpful to have all of us together to really kind of be checks and balances for each other. Like, oh, did you do this? I forgot about that. Or like Margaret's really great at like putting together a Notion page, and we'll get together and be like, oh, okay, like, let's make a little checklist, and like you do these tasks and I'll do those tasks. I mean, Margaret also kind of talked about it in her presentation last week with the creating your own urban farmers almanac guide, like how to work really collaboratively and open source. I think that's really an important skill to learn too. So
yeah, a lot of project management and like I guess we kind of deviate of like Rachel did all the graphics. Now which ones are the most updated? And now I'm gonna load it into social media and tag all the people and make sure we have the most promotion possible. And then Angel, because she's more on site and at the venue, then she has a lot more yeah, like I guess decisions that she needs to make on the actual venue space when people have questions about that and like logistics. So yeah, we all kind of came together and kind of fill in the gaps wherever needed.
yeah. Here, I'm gonna actually go back to the slide deck because like the next page has some photos from that and some of our upcoming events that we're putting together as well. So I'll just leave this on in the background. But I saw that Anna had your hand raised.
Oh yeah, I'll say it now then. I was like, I mean, I'll save it until the end, but I was just curious how or if how you handle I guess like requests from folks or if you're leading like the whole thing. I think for me in comms, something that I'm still trying to talking about that intuition, right? Like knowing when to say no. Like when people have ideas, even though they might be good ideas, there's some ideas that I feel like don't really fit sometimes. And I find myself just kind of just saying yes until my manager's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do that at this time. So I think I'm trying to build that up for myself, but I'm wondering if you have any insight on that, especially working with so many groups. I'm sure that they probably have ideas or things that they want to see. So wondering about that.
Yeah. I mean, I think like, I mean, Margaret, feel free to chime in here too. I was just thinking about how we had a meeting on Friday and we were brainstorming about like what can we show at the upcoming Clarkia Flower Festival. And I think, you know, when it's a brainstorm, there's just like sometimes things come up and you're like, okay, that's good, but like let's think more about it. So for example, we were talking about like what can we have at the Clarkia Flower Festival, and someone else said something about like handing out seeds, which we've done in the past when we partner with like other like urban farms and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, that's cool, but also like how can we come up with stuff that is also mutually beneficial for climate designers, for our organization. And so I think it's really, you know, making sure that you don't hurt people's feelings, but giving a lot of thought to what you want to create together. And just, I mean, I think that's also something with design too, right? We don't always, like our first idea is not always our best idea. So, and we ended up deciding to do like a kind of coloring book page exercise. And we're gonna do like a cool video. So then it'll be like a cool promotion for us. Like it'll be like people get to do a fun activity, but also we'll get to create something that has value for us as an organization as well. So
Yeah, and I guess also our group is pretty small. It's like Rachel, me, and Shinwei, who's another volunteer who has been helping us a lot. So how do we create an environment that we all feel like we can contribute, that we can, share our ideas? We might not land on the idea right away, like what Rachel said, but yeah, maybe that would lead to us thinking about something else, which would eventually land us the actual idea. So
yeah, and that's actually something I thought about putting into this presentation, was that idea of creating a safe space at work. Like having emotional safety in the workplace is something that I think it's better in the climate organizations I've been working with, but in entertainment, no. Like, no offense, but it didn't feel like it was always a safe space to like speak up, or, you know, like how now it's like, okay, yes, there's no bad ideas, like please share. Like it definitely, there were some places that I worked in the past where it was like, you did not feel safe to really express like all of your opinions. So, and that is also a core skill, is creating that sense of safety for people to feel comfortable to speak up and share. But I also think boundaries are hard. And so I think sometimes I fall into the trap of when I have a client that like is like, oh yeah, I just want like all these, I have all these ideas. Like I'm so used to working in entertainment that like, yes, I will do 50 different options or, maybe not that many, but yeah, I think I am used to just like iterating and prototyping and putting out like a whole bunch of options. Like if I'm working on a logo presentation, and sometimes I'll narrow it down, but other times I'll just be like, here's like 20 different logos. Like, let's see what resonates with you, and then explore further down with the ones that you choose. So
Always enjoy the specific sort of process in the mind when you're like you're describing showing 20 logos, and then I imagine the client's going through and like maybe putting a star on the ones that they respond to or something, or crossing out the ones they hate. And then the task of interpolating that feedback is so difficult to define, so difficult to describe, and it's what makes a designer. And as like the older I get, the more I learn to really value that about myself, like that ability to interpolate ideas visually. That's what design is to me.
absolutely. Oh my God. There have been so many times at like agencies that I was working for too, that was like, okay, here's like the creative brief from the client. Like there was, for example, there was one time I was working on like a Mariah Carey special, and she had a very specific idea of what she wanted. She wanted it to be like black and white photography, raw, gritty, and like, very different from, Mariah Carey glitter and butterflies. And it was me and all guys on this project. And I ended up doing the one that was black and white and gritty, like, photo strips and stuff of all these great photos of her. And all the guys did like glittery butterflies because they just heard Mariah Carey and didn't like interpret the creative brief and didn't understand the assignment. And so, that's like a very cut and dry one, but I think there is like a lot of nuance in like what people are asking for in the projects that we really need to interpret.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's definitely a soft skill, like being able to like empathize with the client, or like, feel into what what their objective is. Sometimes they need your help. Sometimes they don't know what it is. You have to pull it out of them.
Yeah, I mean, or there's the classic, like, I'll know it when I see it.
Oh, it's not okay.
But I think that goes back to my point, like hard and soft skill or hard and core skills are so intertwined, especially for designers, because you do have to use so much of that like intuition and emotion and like really interpret what people are asking for to then create it out of thin air with these tools. So
Salute to designers.
yeah. Did anybody else have any questions, or does anybody want to answer my last question? It was from the previous slide, but what core skills do you think we need more of in climate action and design?
Personally or in general?
In general.
I think like inspiring and organizing people.
I'll speak if I can.
Yeah.
I entered the meeting a bit late. I had a chemistry lab, sorry about that. But I think in terms of climate change, I think we have to be able to disperse ourselves into many segments, because climate change affects many areas. It affects the ocean, it affects land, it affects air quality. So being able to advocate for different sectors or be knowledgeable in different sectors is important because they all come together as one. My expertise, well, I want to go further in agricultural and environmental technology. And one of the main subjects I want to do is aquaponics and hydroponics. The main reason I want to do that is because of like in certain areas we have deserts where soil is not like able to grow anything, so it lacks nutrients. There's other places where it's like industrial, so there's not really much dirt to work with because sometimes the dirt is contaminated. So by creating these segments of technology in areas that can lack food and certain resources, it's important to know that. But at the same time, I'm also like learning about how to restore soil. So that's like another factor to also consider, like how can we return the soil back to its nutrient dense where it sustains food and other crops for growing. So I'm just like trying to immerse myself in different regions and different areas. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks. You were reminding me, going back to I think it was Anna's question earlier, about the interdisciplinary. And I think, yeah, I think that is also a core skill that's really important, is again, like the network weaving that I was talking about, like being able to bring together different sectors to get outside of their usual fields of interest or organizations that they work for. I've been doing some work with different government groups or municipal groups, like you know, the Department of Sustainability, or the I have a friend who's the urban ecologist for LA, or like Margaret and I had a lot of calls last year with different waste hauling, like LA sanitation or different composting groups. And I think that it's easy for people to just be so engrossed in like what they're doing that they don't have the time to even like look around and see like, oh, this person is also doing that. Maybe we could share some information. Maybe we break out of our silos and collaborate together. Like, you have some resources that would be helpful with what I'm working on. And I think that there's hopefully some movement in that, like in the city sustainability department. I think they're trying to work, you know, multidisciplinary across different organizations. But I think that that is also something that's super important, is bringing all those people together so that they can work on the same issue from different entry points. So thank you. And I'm gonna also, because Willie, I don't think that you were here when we shared all of the links to the fun quizzes to get to know your inner self better. So I just reshared that in the chat.
Oh,
And
thank you.
yeah, they were fun. So maybe if you have time to rewatch, you can see, you know, after you take the quizzes, you can see where you land and who else is like a storyteller or an organizer with you.
Because I saw everyone was talking about cooking, and I was confused. I was wondering.
Yeah, that was
Toxic.
one of the questions in the last quiz, the Climate Warriors quiz. So it had some interesting, like Casey said, more thought-provoking questions to answer, to find out what your climate warrior archetype was. So, and then I'm also, because I see it's we have about 10-15 minutes left. I'm also going to share links in the chat to what's on the screen right now. This is all of the upcoming events just in the month of May that Margaret and I are putting together. So yeah, we have some really exciting things coming up. So I'd love if you could join our next community meetup, Hope 3. Brings together Climate Designers LA with our friends from Seeds of Hope and Food X Climate to kind of have a little recap about LA Climate Week, but also have some interactive activities, special guests, and a fun fruit-themed photo booth planned. That'll be in Culver City next Thursday, May 15th. And then 2 days after that, Margaret and I will be tabling and doing the fun coloring activity that I had talked about. We'll be doing that at the first annual Clarkia Flower Festival on Saturday, May 17th. And then on Wednesday, May 21st, there's going to be an Evening of Hope where Margaret's going to do a film screening and panel discussion of her docuseries From Soil to Soul, along with 2 other climate films, The Great Ocean Cleanup and Protecting Paradise, and that'll be at the Santa Monica Library. And then finally, for May, we're also going to be presenting at the Outdoor Learning Lab farm during the LA County Fair on Sunday, May 25th. So yeah, before we close out, are there any other tips you can share on initiating events, event planning, and media collabs? Get together with your friends and just do it. I feel like that's kind of been what Margaret and I have been doing. I think it's been okay. So to back up, we've been running Climate Designers LA chapter since the pandemic. So we started in March of 2020 and we started virtual. And so, oh, the link to the events, did the links work here? I just put them in the chat above here.
Well, there are a couple, yeah.
There, I just repasted them. So yeah, so we started out doing virtual events, which is a little bit easier. And then in, I think 2022, we started, at the end of 2022, we started doing in-person events. And it was halfway through 2023 after meeting a bunch of different people and organizations and coming together and collaborating that really made things easier. Like we had an ongoing series called Climate Night, and that was with a friend from Terra.do and another friend that was starting Climate Collective, which is now known as Hey Climate. And so we started off throwing these Climate Night events together. And I think, yeah, just we had the kind of idea of like the more the merrier. And we would just kind of show up, take over an area in an outdoor space at a bar. And we also wanted to provide like a stage for everybody else that attended to share the work that they were working on. So I think that that was also a really important piece of it too, is like, oh, you know, I've got a friend here from LA Compost or whichever other organization, like everybody has a chance to get on the mic and share out with this group, like what else they have coming up and or what else they need help with. And then, yeah, for LA Climate Week, it was, you know, after attending September's LA Climate Week, which was all over the place, and SF Climate Week is the same, like hundreds of events scattered all over the city, and hearing people say things like, oh, I'm going to go to this thing in Santa Monica and then this thing in Pasadena, and then I'm going to go to Long Beach. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so we were talking about, you know, is there a possibility that we could create a hub? And so Angel asked Seeds of Hope if we could have this space for free for the week. And so basically, once we got permission to use the venue, it was just full steam ahead for that month to plan it and put it on. So And the upcoming ones, I don't know if Margaret wants to talk about it, but like the Hope one, I had talked to a friend who just got a new photo studio, and he was talking about how he wanted to have some events to activate it. So we're collaborating with him on that. He's giving us the space for free. The Clarkia Flower Festival, I was talking to someone, I forget what the acronym's for, but LARC, L-A-R-C. I was chatting with somebody from there. I invited them to participate in our LA Climate Week event. They couldn't, but then they shared some events that they were like tabling at and asked if we were interested in also tabling. So that's where that one came from. The LA County Fair was from somebody else that had tabled at our Climate Week event. So I think just, yeah, collaborating, talking to people, using all of these core skills.
I am so impressed by all of the work that you're doing.
Well, if you would like to, oh, the open mic at Climate Nights, help us know who's in the networking event. Yeah, yeah, and going back to that, like I think also when we have events, we try to lead with this emotional intelligence and everything that we've been talking about tonight. One of the things that I've said at some of our meetings is like, you know, this is something that we'll be doing again. Don't feel like you have to rush around and like meet everybody in like a very short, superficial way. Like we're building a community here. So we will be continuing to show up. So get to really know people. And I think that that feels a lot different than like going to a conference and trying to just collect business cards or whatever. If there's no other questions, then I'm going to end on this slide. So if you're interested in learning more about anything else we've talked about tonight or just staying connected, you can find all of my links and info on my bio site on this QR code. It also has links to LinkedIn. It has a link to the Climate Designers LA chapter. So yeah, definitely check that out. And thank you all so much for being so thoughtful and engaged today. I really had fun. And remember, those core skills are our superpowers. So keep investing in yourselves, keep connecting with others, and let's all work together to design a better future.
Thank you so much. I
Venus.
can't believe what an incredible education I'm getting from all of you speakers that are coming in and sharing with us. And I'm glad that we recorded it because there's a lot of people in this group that needed to be here tonight. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to share those links in an email to the class. Is it okay if would you like to make yourself available for any follow-up questions?
Yeah, you just reminded me, I just started a Calendly, so I will also add my Calendly on the bio site that if you didn't have a chance to get the QR code, I put a link to it in the chat as well, so.
Awesome, thank you so much, thank you.
Oh, and could you also share where the recordings are? I got to watch a few, but.
Yes, for sure. I'll follow up with that. And I just want to encourage everybody to try and attend those events because I've done it. And I don't know, I'm just so inspired by the work you're doing. I can't describe how great it is to meet people who actually are working to help. I don't know how to say that better.
Yeah, Margaret and I say that a lot. Like, it feels really nice to actually be like doers that are doing the work and making things happen. Like the brand library event was on March 1st, and there were people that we just had a conversation with that day that by April 1st, we're kicking off our LA Climate Week event. So that's how fast you can get things to happen. Like
Yeah.
you meet people that are just aligned in purpose and want to just do it.
Yeah. And I think people who are like maybe disenchanted by graphic design world and what's going on in marketing might be interested to find out about the nonprofit sector and the cool people who are involved in the attitudes towards work that are showing up there. I think it's good. It's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Thanks again. And I'll follow up with that information and just see you soon.
All
And I'll
right.
see the rest of you back on Thursday with Angel Anderson, who has come up in this talk.
Yeah, I know. I love
you.
being sandwiched between Margaret and Angel. It was perfect.
Wait, Angel from Seeds of Hope.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. I'll be here. All right, bye y'all.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you so much.